would like you to think of a time 200 years ago. That is 1814. It has been 28 years since America declared its independence, but presently it is at war, the War of 1812. The War of 1812 is almost forgotten, but it was very important. We barely survived as a nation. By most accounts, it is considered to be an insignificant war, except that during that period, Washington was burned, and the Treaty of Ghent ended what had been a troubled diplomacy between America and Great Britain. On September 13, that's today, 200 years ago, 1814, a young man, a 35-year-old attorney and poet, his name was Francis Scott Key, was on a mercy mission for the release of Dr. William Deans, who was a prisoner of the British. Keyes brings with him letters from wounded British officers, praising the care they received from Dr. Deans. And the British agreed to release the doctor. However, both Key and Dr. Deans are forced to stay with the British until the attack on Baltimore was over.
Whoa.
All through the night,
Go on, talk.
Key watched from the British ship HMS Tonnant as the bombs were hitting Fort McHenry. In the morning, when he saw the oversized stars and stripes rise above the fort, he began jotting down verses on the back of the letter he was carrying. The poem, which was Defense of Fort McHenry, became the lyrics for the Star-Spangled Banner, the national anthem of the United States of America. It was first adopted as the American national anthem by President Woodrow Wilson in 1916 and by congressional resolution in 1931, and it was signed by President Herbert Hoover. The music eventually adopted for the poem is by British composer John Stafford Smith. The poem has 4 stanzas, but traditionally we sing only the first. Now back to 2014. This weekend, about 200 reenactors and more than 20,000 spectators will show up for Saturdays and Sundays battle reenactments being staged on land and water. Ships from 6 foreign countries and all over the East Coast plus Texas will be coming to Baltimore, the city's Star-Spangled Spectacular celebration. Tomorrow morning, former Secretary of State Colin Powell will visit the fort to take part in a ceremony recalling the moment Francis Scott Key saw that giant flag flying over the fort and was inspired to write the poem that would become the Star-Spangled Banner. And the Star-Spangled Banner in triumph shall wave over the land of the free and home of the brave. Happy birthday, our national anthem. Thanks, dear.